What up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Leslie Smith, and today on the Nerdy Narrative, I'm going to be talking about my experience reading the new release by Simone St. James called Murder Road. The reason why I wanted to read this one and the reason why I had it on my most anticipated releases of the first quarter of the year is because I read and loved the book of Cold Cases by this author a couple of years ago. What happens when you love a book? You keep an eye out for anything new that author releases. As soon as it showed up in my library catalog, I put a hold on the audiobook. The audiobook is narrated by Brittany Presley. If you are familiar with Julia Wayland, she sounds very similar to Julia, though I still like Julia a little bit better. Murder Road is a paranormal mystery thriller. It's about a young couple that is on their honeymoon. They get turned around somewhere in the night and they end up on this deserted road called Atticus Line. As they're going down this road looking for a road sign, anything that will tell them where they are, they notice that there's a person walking down the side of the road that may be drunk or impaired in some way. They're just walking very slowly. They're not very responsive when the couple first stops to help. They're eventually able to convince this hitchhiker to get into the car so they can take them to the nearest town with them. Not long after they have picked this person up, they realize that this person has been gravely injured and they are racing to try and find a hospital while also trying to find out what happened. Unfortunately, the person dies at the hospital before they can get any information. Suddenly, the couple, April and Eddie, are being looked at as suspects of this murder. In the course of the interview and investigation that takes place in the days after, April and Eddie discover there have been multiple murders along Atticus Line of hitchhikers going back decades. April and Eddie are determined to help solve this case as quickly as possible, clear their names, and get on with their lives. Not an ideal way to spend your honeymoon, am I right? So what did I think about this book? Let's talk about chapter 1. It's nighttime. Our couple is lost on an unfamiliar road. They pick up a hitchhiker who then dies. You would think, hey, that's a great start to this. There was no buildup. There was no suspense. There was no real mystery that I was involved in, and I think it's because our couple, our main characters, April and Eddie, were so flat. I will say chapter 2 did a much better job of getting me a little interested in the book. Unfortunately, it didn't last, and I could kick myself because when I got to the 20% mark, which is where I make the decision to finish or DNF, my mind kept saying, she did so good with the Book of Cold Cases. Just keep going. Have a little trust that she's going to pull this one off. And it ended up turning out to be a train wreck. It was so bad that I wanted to know if it was going to be bad to the end or if it was actually going to have a really great twist or turn, something that would give it a good ending. And no, no, it didn't. I should have DNF'd. There just wasn't anything for me to like. I did not like the characters of April and Eddie. There were so many hints that these characters had something in their past, secrets they were keeping from one another, and the reader's attention is brought to this so much. If Simone St. James had just done that a couple of times, because for readers who read these type of books a lot, we look for those one little line that hints at something in the person's past. Just give us 1 or 2 mentions. And to add on to that, just do it for one of the characters, not both. And to pile on with that, it wasn't that interesting. I like my paranormal stuff to have a believable quality to it. And this one, it was hokey. It was hokey. I just didn't believe it, didn't like it, didn't care for it. But that doesn't mean you won't like it. If anything about this sounds like something that's right up your alley, absolutely pick this one up. I would just get it from your library. I know I've been talking about all the stuff that I did not like about this book. There was one thing I liked. The dedication. She dedicated it for anyone who has been told they were weird because they read too much. And then she goes, you're not and you don't. I loved that. Unfortunately, that was the only thing I enjoyed about this book. So what I learned with this book today, my friends, is that Simone St. James just might be an author that's hit or miss for me. I will not purchase books by her. I will always get them from my library, just to be safe. So That is it. That was my experience, my thoughts and opinions about Murder Road by Simone St. James. I hope there was some value in this for you. I hope that if you wanted to read it, I hope that you still do, but you're able to manage your expectations, thereby giving you a much more positive experience with it than I did. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.